early decades of the 19th century, a young man working as a draper in the city of York inherited a tidy sum from his great-uncle. That person was none other than George Hudson, and he moved into his great-uncle's house barely a stone's throw from this famous, if less ecclesiastical, York landmark. He invested his newfound wealth in the embryonic railway industry of the time, and, encouraging others to do so, he became caricatured as the Railway King, fabled as having said, "Make all railways come to York." He certainly did that, ensuring York became one of the country's major railway centres, and although it has undergone considerable contraction, it is still a key part of the network. A century or so after Hudson, a young man working as a schoolteacher in York set about making all model railways come to York. That man, of course, was Mike Cook, who launched the York Model Railway Show in 1962 and ran 49 of them before his untimely death in 2011. "15 years on from Mike Cook's passing, and the York Show is still as popular as ever. Guided by successive managers Malcolm Scrimshaw and, presently, John Shaw, the event clocked up its 60th Diamond Jubilee show in 2025. Here's a selection of highlights from that event, beginning with Invermire, a depiction in O-gauge of the Scottish Highland Railway scene in the 1970s, built and presented by Sean Hutchinson and his team. We're here at York Model Railway Show 2025, the 60th anniversary, and I've got two fine customers here who have come along to see the show.
It's just something I've followed from quite a young age, just always been interested in probably more steam trains, I think, than anything else. And yeah, I'd like riding all railways, really.
So Daniel, what's your interest in railways?
I kind of just followed from my dad, so...
We've been on holiday, we've done some nice railway holidays. We've travelled through Sweden on the Inlandsbanan a couple of years ago. That was a stunning journey. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Absolutely beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So what do you think of the York Model Railway Show? It's been here for 60 years. Would you come again?
Yes, I'd come again.
Yeah.
Would you? Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've had a good morning this morning, and we're just kind of revisiting what we've seen before.
And has it persuaded you to start your own model railway?
If I would need to make the time, and it's always the thing is making the time.
Maybe when you're retired.
Yes, yes.
It's thinking towards the future anyway. Well, thank you very much indeed for sharing your thoughts on the model railway. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So, what does the 2026 show have to offer? Let's take a look, starting appropriately with Peter Kerman's 2mm scale interpretation of York Station, not just because it's just down the road from the full-size version, but appropriate also in that its appearance acts as a tribute to the locomotive engineer Sir Nigel Gresley on the 150th anniversary of his birth in 1876. Peter's version of York Station is set mostly in the 1930s, when Gresley's famous express passenger engines reigned supreme. Celebrated East Coast services pass up and down the station, modelled in Peter's immersive style, allowing the viewer to peer into the cavernous roof as if they were standing on the platforms. 2026 also sees the 50th anniversary of the Scalefour Society. This Golden Jubilee milestone is being celebrated at York Show this Easter with some spectacular fine-scale layouts built to P4 standards. The Barrymore Group's portrayal of the 1970s rail scene at Mostyn is a well-known example in 18.83mm gauge. Developed over a 20-year period, it appears at York at its peak of performance. Unfaltering slow-speed running and the propelling in reverse of long rakes of four-wheeled wagons through point work are just two of the exhibit's hallmark manoeuvres. The short branch to Mostyn Docks and the former ironworks is also modelled, with trains handled by privately owned shunters. Manchester Model Railway Society present its latest P4 layout, Slattox Junction. It is based on the track layout and topography around the rail Castleton South Junction between Manchester and Rochdale, with structures modelled from prototypes found in the locality. Presently depicting steam in the 1950s, you will see a procession of slow lumbering freights intermixed with 60 miles per hour expresses and slower stopping passenger trains. If, on the other hand, a long closed station surviving as a freight-only outpost is much more to your liking, then Steve Hall's Halifax King's Cross will entertain. Based on the diminutive St Paul's terminus of the one-time Halifax high-level railway, you will be transported back to those lazy, hazy days when the distant sound of hissing steam and clanking coal wagons would fill the air. York Model Railway Show is as much about displaying ready-to-run modelling as it is about fine scale, with many of the exhibits showing what can be achieved using off-the-shelf equipment. Martin Austin's Aldergrove in Engage is a fine example, having been developed using proprietary track, locomotives and stock, and a full selection of card kits from the Metcalfe range. In contrast, Peffermill Road is a Scottish urban branch terminus set in the 1960s and was built by Brian Sunman to show how a mix of proprietary locomotives, kit-built wagon stock, a few hand-built structures along with simple but effective scenery could all be brought together to create a model railway that is both personalised and distinctive. The big O-gauge centrepiece layout appearing at York this year is going to be Dr. Rennie Lord's rendition of Selby Swing Bridge and Selby Station. Who would have thought that such a model of this one-time East Coast mainline staging post and junction would ever be created, let alone in the larger scale? Clearly, now is the time to get yourselves along to the York Show this coming Easter weekend and see it for real. A full list of layouts appears on the York Show website, along with a summary of all the traders attending, details of numerous society displays, model-making demonstrations covering all manner of subjects, and our ever-popular Build-A-Kit activities. That's well over 100 stands, plenty to keep you fully entertained and engaged for the entire day. The Knavesmire Stand has been the York Show venue for the last 35 years. It's superbly appointed, accessible to all floors, and probably offering the best catering facilities of any UK model railway show. Upon arriving at the venue, you'll always be assured of a friendly welcome, and instead of paying at the door, you can order discounted tickets in advance via the York Show homepage. Either use the QR code top right or navigate to the Prices, Times and Box Office tab and click on the box office link. This directs you straight to our ticketing partners, tickettailor.com, where you can pay with a credit or debit card.